dicho antes de empezar el partido. Hoy va a ser tu día y vas a meter gol. Hoy iba a estar un poco flojo yo, pero mejor. Mi hermano ha metido gol. Ha metido gol. ¿Y qué? Enséalo.
Around the corner for Yamal, and he succeeded in that. Yamal is going to go over to Williams now.
No soy tan bueno como ese cabrón, la verdad. Es un partidazo el que hice, ya lo vi.
Expertly finished to get Spain started. Well, England never got started at all.
El otro día hablé con Nico Williams, entrevisté a Nico Williams aquí. Me lo pasé muy bien con él. Me dijo que es tu hermano mayor, que le hagas caso. Te tengo que decir eso. Me dijo que le hagas caso.
Nada, soy su padre en todo lo que hago, así que nada, lo vi.
¿Que eres su qué?
He was the danger.
Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, they are the new attacking duo that will completely destroy La Liga.
Nico.
Yamal de cara a portería. Lamine.
In the past, whenever Barça combined two world-class wingers, they built historic teams, and always with an unstoppable left winger, paired with a right winger born in La Masia. Ronaldinho and Messi, Thierry Henry and Leo, David Villa and Messi, Neymar and the Argentine. And now, Barça is ready to create a new, unstoppable winger duo with Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal.
Yamal is going to go over to Williams now.
Finally, Barcelona's master plan is very close to being completed. After months of speculation, tense negotiations behind closed doors, and fierce pressure from several European giants, it seems that Nico Williams' path will cross with that of his friend Lamine Yamal in Catalonia. Neither Bayern Munich, with their solid sporting project and financial muscle, nor Arsenal, with Arteta offering him a key role in the Premier League. Not Luis Diaz, not Rashford, nor any of the other names linked as possible alternatives. It will be Nico Williams who puts on the Blaugrana shirt. And the most striking part is that the news wasn't leaked by any journalist, nor was it confirmed by President Laporta. It was Lamine himself who hinted at it. A post on social media, a picture of both of them, sharing knowing smiles, no caption, but a deafening message.
Sí. Le dije a Nico que si no jugamos juntos ni nada, espero que solo gane un título y sea el Mundial.
Lamine Yamal had already teased it weeks earlier, because beyond the transfer itself, what's at stake here is something much bigger, the birth of an attacking duo that could define an era in European football. Two wingers who, despite their youth, have already become the biggest nightmare for opposing defences. Lamine Yamal has shattered historic records, embarrassing established stars like Mbappe and Vinicius in El Clásicos. Nico Williams, at 22, comes off winning the Euros and being one of the most dangerous wingers on the continent. Hansi Flick, who already has his system perfectly built, knows this addition could raise his team's ceiling to unprecedented levels. Today, Barca is dominant, but there's still an imbalance in their attack. All the vertical, one-on-one danger comes through Lamine. Rafinha, now playing as a second striker or attacking midfielder, has performed well, but the left flank still heavily depends on Balde's overlapping runs. With Nico, that problem disappears. The arrival of the Athletic Club winger will finally give Barca total symmetry in attack. For the first time since the days of Neymar and Messi, the team will have two elite threats out wide. Nico brings explosive speed, one-on-one dribbling, the ability to break lines with power, and a creative passing game that fits perfectly with Barca's footballing philosophy. Plus, his natural chemistry with Pedri, Dani Olmo, and Lamine from the national team makes his adaptation almost instant. This signing isn't random, it's pure strategy. While Real Madrid collects Galacticos, Barca is building a perfectly structured squad designed to maximise the young core that could dominate Europe for the next decade. But there's still one final step, Nico's definitive yes. The deal is close, talks have progressed like never before, and the player has already expressed internally his desire to make the move. Everything points to it being a matter of time. And when it happens, the new Barca of Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams will be ready to dominate European football. Nico Williams' evolution has not been a coincidence. It has been a carefully built process, year after year, game after game. Today he's one of the most feared wingers on the planet. But what has transformed his career isn't just his natural talent, it's his ability to adapt to the demands of every situation. And that's exactly what caught Barca's attention. Since his first steps with Athletic Club in the 2021-22 season, where he only recorded 3 goals and 1 assist, his progression has been meteoric. By 2023/24, he had exploded with 8 goals and 18 assists. And now, In the 2024/25 season, he's reached a new level of maturity, 11 goals and 7 assists in 45 matches, but his true impact goes far beyond those raw numbers. Nico is a true 1v1 specialist. His ability to receive wide on the left wing, read the space, and attack defenders with a mix of power and technical skill makes him a nightmare for any fullback. He's not just a dribbler, he pulls defenders out of position, drags multiple markers with him, and creates opportunities for his teammates. His talent to break down defensive systems is one of his deadliest weapons. But his rise has also brought a new challenge. His own success has made him a target. Opponents no longer defend him with just one player. Now it's 2, 3, even 4 defenders closing him down and trying to limit his impact. Yet Nico remains dangerous. He's found ways to hurt defences even with less space and more pressure. Instead of disappearing, he's learned to live under constant attention. The stats back it up. This season, he's averaging an incredible 10.45 completed dribbles per 90 minutes. Second only to Lamine Yamal, his soon-to-be partner in attack, who leads all of LaLiga with 181 total dribbles. Simply put, they are the 2 best dribblers in the Spanish league, and no team in Europe has 2 wingers this dangerous and this young at the same time. Moreover, Nico has not stopped stepping into the box. His goal-scoring average has improved, with 1 goal every 285 minutes this season. And although his number of assists has dropped, the explanation runs deeper. Athletic hasn't always been able to capitalise on the plays he creates. He has remained the focal point of the team's offensive threat, with his wide runs constantly generating space along the rival's defensive line. But while the world focuses on his dribbling, there's a part of Nico Williams' story that deserves attention: his constant pursuit of evolution in the final third. This season has been less prolific in terms of assists. After delivering 18 assists in 2023-2024, 1 every 152 minutes, he's registered just 7 this season, averaging 1 every 447 minutes. At first glance, it may seem like a regression, but in reality, it reflects Athletic Club's collective context. Poorer finishing by his teammates, a lack of synchronicity in the final third, and opponents increasingly prepared to shut down his options. A deeper analysis reveals that Nico has had to reinvent himself this season. He has gone from being solely a wide playmaker to transforming into a complete attacker. When he receives the ball, he accelerates instantly. His first instinct is to go vertical, forcing defenders to retreat and immediately breaking the defensive structure. His top speed, combined with elite-level explosiveness, constantly creates imbalances. Aggressive fullbacks suffer especially against him. They can't stop or turn as quickly as Nico demands, and that's where we've seen a new side of him, the ability to be dangerous inside the box. Against Roma in the Europa League quarter-finals, he gave a clear sign of that evolution. In Bilbao's first goal of the second leg, Nico appeared inside the 6-yard box, practically like a number 9, and finished calmly from close range after a cross. But he wasn't just a finisher. Throughout that match, he exploited his dribbling in tight spaces, and his talent for escaping 2 defenders in close quarters was decisive, creating chances that came within inches of becoming goals. In Bilbao's third goal of that game, his vision was masterful. He started the play with a one-touch pass, combined perfectly, and attacked the open space behind the defence. That instinct for quick 1-2s and sharp off-the-ball movement brings him closer to the kind of possession-based, positionally aggressive football that Hansi Flick demands. The showcase didn't stop there. In the Europa League semi-finals against Rangers, Nico revealed another side of his game: his aerial aggressiveness. He capitalised on a precise cross to rise above the defence, with a powerful header, sealing Athletic's place in the European semi-finals and becoming a complete threat, on the outside and inside alike. But then came the cruel blow in the semi-finals against Manchester United, a painful elimination, just 1 step away from the final, repeating a familiar pattern in Ernesto Valverde's teams, the curse of decisive moments. Just like what happened with Barcelona in Rome or Anfield, the collapse came at the worst possible time. Still, it didn't overshadow Nico's brilliant season, in which he was also key to securing 4th place in La Liga and bringing Athletic back to the Champions League. Barca isn't just signing a winger, they're bringing in a strategic piece to reshape their entire attack. Nico Williams is the perfect cog for Hansi Flick's system, and that's not speculation. The German coach made it clear himself. Flick called Nico personally, laid out the project, explained his tactical vision, and told him exactly where he sees him, as a key partner to Lamine Yamal, in an offense designed to become one of the most feared in Europe. With Nico locking down the left flank, Barca gained something they didn't have last season: offensive symmetry. Until now, all the creative burden was on Lamine, while the left side depended on the superhuman efforts of Alejandro Balde, who had to act as winger, fullback, and playmaker all at once. But with Nico, Balde can return to his essence. An attacking fullback, yes, but with more balance and less exhausting responsibility. Nico will restore Barca's full use of the pitch's width. and the domino effect will be immediate. Rafinha, freed from the duty of holding width, will be able to operate through the middle, where he's proven to be more dangerous. That's where his shooting, second-line runs, and false nine instincts shine brightest. Nico's arrival doesn't just strengthen the left flank, it unlocks the entire system. But signing Nico also meant making a tough decision, letting go of Luis Diaz. The Colombian, an established figure at Liverpool, with proven performance in the Premier League, was a solid alternative. His versatility made him an attractive piece for Flick. Left winger, second striker, false nine, a tactical Swiss army knife. His stats backed him up. 17 goals and 8 assists this past season. However, at 28 years old and with a potential cost of €80 million, the risk was higher. Nico, on the other hand, offers youth, explosiveness, dribbling, space awareness, and, most importantly, a natural fit for Barca's model. He's a pure winger, vertical, associative, and decisive in one-on-one situations. While Luis Diaz is more mature and adaptable, Nico is more vertical, more aggressive, and in the perfect moment to explode under a coach like Flick. And the price tipped the scale. €58 million for Nico versus €70 to €80 million for Diaz. In a Barca economy still recovering, every million counts. But this isn't a cheap signing, it's a surgical investment, based on the player's current level and especially on his massive potential. And while it's true Nico isn't a high-pressing specialist or a defensive hound like Rafinha, he makes up for it completely on offense. His ability to break lines, beat defenders, and get into the box with ease makes him lethal in tight games, the kind where space is scarce and a flash of brilliance is needed to crack the wall. And that's exactly what Barca lacked in key matches, like the Champions League semi-final against Inter. In that match, Lamine Yamal carried the full weight of the game nearly alone, triple marked, with no room to shine, and without a teammate on the opposite wing to dismantle Simone Inzaghi's tactical trap. To make things worse, Alejandro Balde was unavailable due to injury, and while Gerard Martin had a great game with 2 crucial assists, his more defensive profile couldn't provide the width and depth Barca needed on the left to stretch the Italians. This is where Nico Williams becomes essential. He's not just a winger who dribbles, he's a player who breaks down defences, forces opponents to fall back, and above all is the perfect partner for Lamine Yamal. If there's one thing they've shown with the Spanish national team, it's that they understand each other blindly. In just 18 matches together, they've directly contributed to 25 goals. Nico has scored 5 and assisted 6. Lamine has 5 goals and 9 assists. That's a natural connection that Barca can't afford to ignore. Because the truth is, the club hasn't signed a winger of this quality since the failed experiments with Memphis Depay and Ferran Torres. Memphis came in as a star but never truly adapted. Ferran over time stopped being a winger and became more of a functional false nine. But Nico is a pure winger, not just by position, but by mindset. Stretch the field, beat defenders, create and score. Exactly what a team needs if it wants to dominate Europe. But the most important thing isn't just what Nico can do on his own, it's what he can do for Lamine Yamal. When Nico attracts defenders on the left, he gives Lamine more freedom on the right. He gives him air, he gives him space, he gives him options. And when Lamine links up with someone who thinks as fast as he does, Barca's football becomes pure attacking poetry. Because if Lamine Yamal was already tearing through Europe without someone like Nico on the opposite flank, what will he do now that Williams is distracting defenders, opening spaces, and widening Barca's offensive map? Lamine's impact this past year has been so massive, it's hard to put into words. With 18 goals and 25 assists, he carried a rebuilding Barca on his back, first under Xavi's shadow, then with Flick's support. He was, without exaggeration, the team's most decisive player all season. In 4 Clásicos against Real Madrid, he played like a veteran, not a teenager, scoring, assisting, breaking lines, and most importantly, winning. Supercopa, Copa del Rey, LaLiga. 3 trophies lifted with Lamine as the main figure in all of them. In the Champions League, he also delivered unforgettable moments, like his screamer against Benfica or that masterpiece against Inter, which nearly took Barca to the final at Wembley. Every time he touched the ball, the stadium held its breath. Because Lamine breaks lines, controls tempo like a seasoned pro, and what's most shocking is his maturity when making decisions, always with purpose, always precise. He handles pressure like it's nothing, and his vision makes everyone around him a better player. But here comes the danger: burnout, overexposure, too much weight on one pair of shoulders, because all that brilliance has bloomed in creative solitude. Many times the team relied entirely on his magic to create danger, and that's the real concern. How much more can Lamine carry alone without feeling the toll? How much more can he stretch the rope before it snaps, physically or mentally? Yes, Pedri and Rafinha have been key in many wins, but in the big games, it's Lamine who breaks open defences and helps Barca cut through the lines. That's where Nico Williams steps in as an offensive lifesaver, the natural balance on the opposite flank. Because the biggest threat to this Barca doesn't come from its rivals, but from the risk of burning out its most valuable gem by not surrounding him with the support he deserves. A talent like Lamine's needs teammates on his level, and in this context, Nico isn't just a great option, he's the only logical solution to free Lamine from the defensive chains that opponents impose on him week after week. Euro 2024 made that crystal clear. Every time Lamine and Nico were on the pitch together, the threat doubled, defences broke, and the football flowed. Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal have already proven they can conquer Europe together, and they did it wearing Spain's shirt. At Euro 2024, they were simply unstoppable. Nico played in every match of the tournament, logging nearly 500 minutes, and showing a devastating version of himself. 2 goals, 1 assist, 89.67% pass accuracy, and a top speed of 35.8 kilometers per hour. He covered over 54 kilometers during the championship. He was, both literally and statistically, a hammer down the left wing, a complete winger who mixed physical effort with creativity and killer instinct. The match against Georgia was his masterpiece. He scored, assisted, completed all his passes, and delivered 4 key passes in a single game. He became the first player born in the 21st century to achieve such a feat in a Euro. Meanwhile, on the opposite wing, Lamine Yamal was breaking every record imaginable. Youngest debutant, youngest assist provider, youngest scorer in a knockout round, and the star of the final against England. Who scored the opening goal of that final? Nico Williams, after an assist from Lamine. Who became the youngest player ever to win a European Championship? Lamine Yamal, beating even Pelé's World Cup record. Together, they dominated the toughest national team tournament on the continent. But that wasn't all. In the Nations League, the duo was lethal again against France in the semi-finals. Spain's first goal came from a play that began with Lamine on the right wing and ended with Nico Williams scoring to make it 1-0. Then, a combination between them led to a penalty that Lamine calmly converted. Later, Nico assisted Pedri with surgical precision, and Lamine closed the show with a screamer after breezing past Lenglet. Spain ran over France, but once De La Fuente took Lamine off the field, the team collapsed and the French nearly equalised. That, more than any stat, says it all about these two. It shows how valuable Lamine is, and how essential it is that he and Nico Williams are on the field together. Under Luis de la Fuente's system, they've been lethal and efficient, but their best version might just come under Hansi Flick, who knows how to get 300% out of them. With Hansi Flick in charge, Barca wouldn't just be signing a winger, they'd be signing a full-blown revolution, because this Barca, with Lamine Yamal on the right and Nico Williams on the left, would no longer be a predictable team boxed in by dependence on a single player, but an offensive machine of pure vertigo, capable of tearing apart defences from every angle. Flick's 4-2-1-3 system is no longer a theory, it's a surgical plan. Rafinha playing as a free-moving attacking midfielder behind the 9, Pedri and Frenkie de Jong controlling the rhythm from deep, Lewandowski as the reference up front, with Ferran Torres rotating in when needed. But the real fire will be on the wings, Nico on the left, Lamine on the right. And for those who think Nico might hurt Barca's defensive solidity, the reality is quite the opposite. Alejandro Baldi will no longer have to cover insane distances and will be able to help contain counter-attacks more effectively, something Barca struggled with this past season. That's the heart of the new Barca. Because if last season we saw Lamine surrounded by 3 defenders, it was because there was no one on the opposite flank generating equal panic. The same thing happened to Nico at Athletic. Both were terrifying on their own, but together they'll be unstoppable. With both wingers stretching defences wide, the midfield will have more time and space, and Lewandowski will receive more clean, advantageous passes, not ones crammed between defensive lines. And this isn't just theory, they've already proved it under Luis de la Fuente. When they play together, they elevate the whole team. That's not an exaggeration. They are the kind of players who transform a system, who force opponents to prepare differently, who demand double coverage on each wing. And still, that's not enough, because they dribble you, they assist, they score. For years, Barca searched for a lethal left winger. They tried with Ansu Fati, whose start was as promising as his decline was painful. Injuries and pressure broke what once looked like a star in the making. Nico Williams is everything Ansu was supposed to be, but with terrifying consistency and ironclad health. He's proven he's not a spark, he's a full-blown storm. And yes, it's true that Nico has had some minor injuries, but under the care of Flick's staff, the Bilbao Academy product is destined to become a physical, mental and footballing beast. Barca's future now has a youthful face and a cheeky smile. Nico Williams has found in Lamine Yamal more than just a partner on the wing. He's found a little brother, just like Iñaki was for him in his early days. And that bond doesn't stop at training or match days. It spills into the locker room, into the soul of a team being rebuilt, not only with talent, but with real chemistry, with human connection. In Nico and Lamine, tactical synergy meets genuine friendship, and in a football world becoming increasingly automated, that's worth gold. This isn't just about smart signings or impressive stats. It's about giving Barca back an identity rooted in joy, flair, and the ability to break games open through improvisation. Lamine and Nico aren't lab-grown products. They're a natural response to a game that has too often become cold and robotic. They do what true stars have always done: enjoy themselves and make others dream. Lamine with his magical left foot, his supernatural vision of the game, and his ability to slice through defences like paper. Nico with his blistering speed, electric one-on-ones, and knack for popping up where no one expects. Together, they're the perfect balance of fantasy and power, outside play and interior danger, combination and verticality. And beyond their technical brilliance lies the story they represent. Both are sons of immigrants, raised in humble environments, who learned that hard work is inseparable from talent. They are the symbol of a new Spain and a new Barca, inclusive, powerful, multicultural, and proud. In a world obsessed with metrics and results, they bring back wonder, the dribble that makes a stadium rise, the assist no one saw coming, the goal that defines a generation. They're just two kids who haven't forgotten that, at the end of the day, this is still just a game. And while the fans dream of seeing Nico and Lamine dancing down the wings at Camp Nou, Barca faces its eternal dilemma: creating magic with a calculator in hand. Because before this new era can be written in golden letters, the numbers must add up. The deal for Joan Garcia has already been closed, with the club activating his €26 million release clause. Nico Williams' release clause requires another €58 million to be paid immediately. That means the club needs to bring in nearly €90 million to comply with the one-to-one rule and register both players legally. The sporting project has never been clearer, but the financial side demands sacrifices. And now, the big question that shakes both the locker room and the boardroom is inevitable. Who will Barca have to sell to make this dream come true? Could it be Rafinha, who still has strong interest from the Premier League, or Ferran Torres, who finished the season well but never really secured a starting spot? Could there even be a surprise exit like Fermin Lopez that frees up just enough room for this future to begin today? There's also the clear possibility of Ronald Araujo being sold. In the first 20 days of July, his release clause drops to €60 million. Could the Uruguayan be the one they choose to sacrifice? Camp Nou is waiting. The hope is massive. And even though there are still obstacles ahead, the reward would be worth every step. Because if Barca moves smartly, selling with precision and buying with vision, then the next decade could belong to the duo that excites all of Europe: Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. And when that happens, we'll all know it was worth it.